Welcome back, one and all, to the EMEA Masters 2023 Summer Main Stage, Group Stage. I am Just Oshin. I am still joined by the absolutely delightful Dagda as we're coming into our second game of the series, or of the day even, in this group. And we're going to go on the Bisons E-Club versus GTZ Esports. And I mean, it's an Iberian clash. It's Spain versus Portugal. We always love to kind of have it. But for Bisons, they've got a bit to prove. They had a pretty big split here in the Superliga, and they're looking to go a little bit further than they've always gone.
Yeah, I mean, for this team, they really want to try and make it out of groups. They failed the last time they were in the EMEA Masters, whereas when we look on the opposite side for GTZ Esports, this is their first time making it into groups, so I think, or at least from the last time. So I think this is definitely going to be a big one for GTZ to see if they can try and go further. But for Bison's Club on your screen, a huge amount of this is a case of, can they try and find that success, particularly playing around that bottom side and getting Legolas ahead.
Yeah, Legolas is the plenty of Lord of the Rings references to be made, I'm sure, when we go into this particular game. But I mean, like, you know, obviously coming into this one, they are the second seed from the Superliga, and you know, dropping to Movistar. But on the other side of this one here, I mean, GTZ Esports, you can say all you want about them. Maybe they had a slightly easier play-ins. You know, they got the best of the you know, the kind of the second place finishes in the play-ins playoffs. But they're here and they've been looking pretty good. Honestly, they've been kind of going from strength to strength with all the games they've been playing.
Yeah, I think a huge amount of this team is going to be built, like, trying to look towards Time and Heroic, right? This is the two guys that this team was built around as we look over the last couple of splits that they played. And they have won the last two splits in the OPLOL, so I'm excited to see what they can do now that they have made it to the main stage. I think, again, this is another team that I'm looking to see them try and play around, like, use that mid-jungle into playing for objectives like that Dragon. Definitely going to be more of kind of a bottom side of the map focus for them when it comes towards the neutrals. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to take it here against Bison E-Club.
I mean, the big thing as well is that for the EMEA Masters, throughout the entirety of the history of this tournament, everything and anything can happen. You can just hit a great patch for your team. You can just hit a fantastic moment that just works for you and your squad. So let's see what they can do in this matchup, as we're going to jump straight into picks and bans. No delays here into our second game, as Bison's on the blue with GTZ on the red. And this is where we're going to start to see kind of more of those priorities. And again, things like the Gwen, these are more of the pocket picks being taken away here from the side of GTZ.
Yeah, I think as well, like, we're probably going to see, well, the Varus already taken off the board here, something that we see a lot, and by Bison as well. But I'm curious to see, like, you're still getting, obviously, CPM target banned. He's a big Ornn and Sion player, but also looking towards still the Maokais, the Iverns, these kind of things that are still going to be up and available. And especially for a guy like No Name, who, talking again to like Dom Sacco earlier today, or in the interview I saw earlier today, he is someone that like wants to try and push forward the LEC. He's someone who wants to try and make a name for himself as well coming into this tournament. One rookie of the split in the Spanish league, so definitely wants to try and push forward and make his name on a more international scale as well.
Almost ironic that he's called No Name, but we are going to see
he stole it from, remember the LCQ guys back in the day?
I was thinking.
The LCS. Yeah, he actually was like, I liked his name, so I just took it.
Wow, okay. Well, No Name is going to be on the Ivern in this particular game, as we wait to see what GTZ want to try and respond with. The Talia that you were talking about a little bit earlier on in our show, no longer available for either of these sides. But for GTZ, they've been kind of happy to go for what works for them. They're not really too bothered about the quote-unquote strongest meta picks. They're going for comfort a lot of the times, and it's been working, so they're going to lock in the Syndra again.
Yeah, the Syndra, they tend to play these like big front-to-back team fights, right? The Syndra, big one for Heroic, it's his most played. I'm pretty sure this split. I'm just double-checking. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. But I know he's got 6 games of it, and still like an incredibly strong performance on it. Played it a lot coming in towards the playoffs as well. And you want to try and lean that in towards something that can set up for a strong backline in the AD carry position, which immediately is going to be the Zeri. So I think you're definitely looking at GTZ going, right, we're probably going to fall back towards CPM going on to the Sion, which has been his other big pick alongside the Ornn, and then go for this engage tool with Nightmares to try and set up this fight.
Yeah, you're looking to try and just kind of, as you say, have out 2 big beefy guys in the front. Set yourself up nicely for a front-to-back team fight. But the Yone and the Kaisa being locked in here now for the Bisons. I mean, this just kind of makes sense. You've got the Ivern already locked in. The Kaisa gives you that nice little bit of flexibility between AP and AD. And the Yone right now is so powerful, so difficult to kind of burn him down quickly as well. It's
just so weird, because when I think back to like random of years gone by, like he started like basically when EMEA Masters started, like back in 2018 with Isuba, right? And he was like the Azir guy, the control mage guy, and even his Azir is still like his most played by a country mile when it comes to his stats. I expected him to kind of like fall back into that style, but like the fact he's now bringing out stuff like the Yone and stuff, it's just so sick to see how he's like grown over the course of this tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, like, again, it's kind of a fully, you either go fully left or fully right. He decided head first into the carry wall as he wanted to pick out the Yone. The Scion, as you mentioned, for CPM, going to be picked up here just to kind of give them that nice, solid block in that top side. Make sure they have that, as you say, good, solid front-to-back team fight as of the moment. But coming into the second round of bans, again, they're going to be very happy to try and ban away things that can just lock down this area, get rid of that Nautilus, maybe even get rid of something like a Leona to try and make sure that Avra has as easy as a time as he possibly has, being that short-range AD carry.
Yeah, as well, just the Nautilus just links up so well with the Kai'Sa, like point-and-click CC to set her up for any sort of like follow-up. But you've already got a lot of that coming through with the likes of the Yone as well. So I am also curious, like, exactly where we see the Yone go. I do imagine it's going towards random, like the AP AD split that we see coming through from the mid-jungle. But you could also go into the top side. Like, Sion, not exactly a champion that's really going to push the Yone out of lane and like be a big issue for him, so could also be going up towards Mirren, but we'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. Kindred going to be taken off the board here, so still putting like a huge amount of pressure on towards time and just trying to get rid of things like probably even a Viego now as well, to just take that opportunity for that carry jungler to sync up with the Syndra.
Interesting enough, the Rel has fallen all the way down towards these bans so far, something that's incredibly powerful for either side. Just in a meta standpoint, you know, maybe they don't have as much of a liking to it as most other teams, but we'll wait to see if it does end up getting banned out here. No, the Viego, like you mentioned, so putting more priority onto time and making sure that he doesn't have the kind of same setup that he would like for this GTZ side. So now you've got yourself an opportunity. I would imagine you want to try and pick up your jungler here, knowing that it's the Ivern, and leave that support for the last pick so you can have that priority in the lane.
Yeah, just the counter pick is so nice for support. I mean, we've even seen it over the course of this weekend at the major region level, where they're just like, cool, we really want to try and make sure we get that. But I think this is a good read again from Bisons. Like, we haven't seen anyone on GTZ play Rel over the course of their split, so they're just going to go back and say, hey, yeah, and they get the correct call here, not something that's in the GTZ wheelhouse. So Jarvan going to be coming forward, but again, like, very strong mid jungle, a lot of like CC and damage that can come through, very good team fighting. Like, this is what got GTZ to this position, and they're just going to try and fall back to that again.
Yeah, absolutely. The Aatrox being hovered over here for the moment for the side of the Bisons. Maybe they want to go towards the Aurelia, and they do. Locked it in. So they're looking to hard carry into this top side. I mean, they know it's a Sion and they know it's a Jarvan, so there's not really much you know, kind of benefit for GTZ to be having time up that top side. So I really like this pick.
Yeah, it feels to me like Bison are kind of going, right, like GTZ, you want to play for these big team fights. We're going to try and just play for side lanes. Yone, going to work great. You got the Aurelia that's going to work great in that position as well. And then just try and make sure that you're able to command that. A lot of this, though, for Bisons is going to be a case of, right, well, then can we try and play for early skirmishing on this top side? Use the Yone, use the Aurelia, lock down one target, and then set up for a lot of these strong skirmishes that lead to Rift Heralds, lead to us getting tower position, because otherwise you're just not really going to have this team. Because, I mean, Zeri, Syndra, Sion, late game, is going to be a very difficult front to back to try and play through.
Absolutely, and you add a Braum into that as well, the Glacial Fissure, the Concussive Blows, even just the Unbreakable being able to kind of be put up there to try and stop the Vanguard's edge, potentially from the Aurelia. Lots of things that can answer. However, if Bisons get ahead, if this side is able to play through those side lanes, I mean, GTZ don't have really many answers to try and deal with an Aurelia and a Yone in a side lane with all the poke coming in from the Kai'Sa as well.
And I think that's where the crux of it is. It's like, if Bisons can get that early lead, they're going to be in a great spot. And again, I think a lot of this is going to come to no name and random. Like, how well can they link up? We talked about like Legolas as well, trying to be, in a lot of situations, they will try and play towards him and try and play for that dragon. But I think this is actually a scenario where we might have to see them shift what has been their normal style and try and play more towards these Rift Heralds and these kind of things, because that's where that gold will pay dividends later, versus the dragons that are just more going to be suited towards the front-to-back team composition that we see on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. But, well, I mean, teams are locked and loaded here, and for Bisons, they are throwing down a little bit of a hammer right now and saying, look, you had your fun in the play-ins, you had your fun in the play-ins playoffs, but we are not going to allow you to play your game. We're going to put pressure on you in those side lanes and make sure that you don't just get a very front-to-back team fight. But we'll have to wait and see if GTZ can have anything to do with that or anything to say about that as we do jump onto the Rift. And we'll see how the Superliga versus the LPLOL does end up going on an Iberian clash. As both these sides, you know, regardless of how you want to twist it, there's always going to be a little bit of venom. You want to win this first game. Not only that, you want to win it against your neighbor.
Just makes that a little bit sweeter, right?
It's like
Every time.
Ireland versus England, like, you know, like it's okay. Like, I know there's no actual bad blood, but at the same time, we're gonna win, and I really want us to win. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, we get the rugby, they get the football. That's kind of how it works at this
That's
stage.
honestly right now, it's exactly how it is.
But yeah, as we come into this, I think it'll be curious to see how GTZ kind of do, because it does feel like they're going to have to be trying punching up in this situation. Like traditionally, the Orange Liga has been so good. The Super League Orange even has been so good at like putting themselves forward as one of the more dominant regions, at least from the beginning. Did fall off as of recent times, but for the Portuguese league, it's still trying to make a name for themselves on this international stage. And it starts here with GTZ, as we said. Like, this is now the first time this organization has made it to groups, and they're going to try and make sure that they're able to put their stamp down on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've always been up and around there. Like, you always think about the LPLOL, where it's like, you know, it's for the win. They've always been very much the team, as much, almost like the Matchco of Portugal as such. But I mean, looking in towards it now, it does feel like we are waiting to see kind of where this team can go, where this league can go. And it does feel like little by little, bit by bit, the quote-unquote smaller, minor ERLs are starting to make moves. Matchco have been, you know, kind of making themselves known from the PG Nats, and I believe that they had a fantastic showing earlier on today. So again, there's just more and more to kind of come out from these smaller leagues that can put their mark down.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to see it a little bit with the LOL with teams like GTZ Esports back in the day, right? Back 2018, 2019, where they were definitely trying to step up and make a name for themselves. As No Name gets the Cadro special, as he loves to see this route. But so No Name gets the stamp of approval, at least there. But still, though, it's like these are teams that are definitely capable of stepping up and trying to show that their region deserves more time at these big international events. And but you are going up against, again, like Bisons E Club, who coming through here, they are also a team that, hey, look, we want to try and make it out of groups. We saw No Name, as we said in the interview, talking about how he wants to not only make it out of groups, like he wants to put himself forward as like a guy who wants to make it to LEC. He said he may not be ready yet, but this is certainly a guy who, that is the goal. And I think that is the goal for a lot of the players that you see coming up here in the EMEA Masters.
And the thing is as well, is like, yes, they are the second seed from the Superliga, but you gotta remember, Bisons E Club were first in the regular season, ended 13-5, very much had themselves I don't think they had a losing record against anybody in the split. I actually believe in the regular split they 2-0'd Movistar Riders, who ended up winning the finals 3-1. So this is not a team that, you know, I think a lot of people were expecting this team to be the #1 seed from the Superliga. So, you know, kind of an unfortunate time for GTZ, if you do say so yourself. But for many teams or many matchups in this entire series, there's no easy games. There's no real kind of moments where you can just kind of take for granted and assume you're just going to come out with a W.
Yeah, and I think that's, especially to say when it's the best of ones, anything can happen. And I think that's the beauty of it as well, where you kind of get those moments where you get to cheer for your home team. But we'll have to see exactly what the plan is, because at the moment, I'm looking towards No Name, who is hovering towards his top side of the map. Wave is not in a good spot for CPM, so I'm curious if there is going to be a plan. Like, that ward very far forward by CPM, so does it leave opportunity for No Name to, well, actually go mid instead now?
Well, Heroic gets flashed upon here by Random, but a flash in response. The Scatter of the Week does keep him fairly safe. He's going to be able to reset now, go back with his teleport there. It was a nice moment there, recognizing that Random had already gotten the reset in, gotten themselves the boots, so maybe they could have made something happen. But a flash for a flash, nothing really gained us out far from that. But I will say Random definitely looking the better of the two mid laners for the moment.
Yeah, and now Time as well has to try and move up here towards his top side to cover this crash from CPM. He's completely out of mana, so Mirren could actually potentially freeze this. This is why we see No Name answering this, because he spotted the enemy jungler on the ward.
Yeah, they've spotted him, and you can see that's why Marin's being so aggressive right now. Good flawless duet. They will fully commit onto him, but the shield already came down, and now they have to take this 2v2. I don't think he wanted it, though, and Time hasn't got any more time. First blood going over to the Bisons E Club.
Great ward from Mirren in that lane, just to spot out that the jungler's more than likely going to come top. He knew that the wave was in a terrible spot for CPM, and with No Name up there to respond, great call from the Bisons E Club.
Really well covered there, and this is why the Ivern is so powerful as well, is that it does feel like, oh, I'll call myself here, is what? How did Nightmares die? He's having nightmares. Is this real? Is he asleep right now?
Flash on him. What? I mean,
yeah, what happened?
I'm gonna need a replay.
Yes. Thank you, observers. Hang on, let's see. So did he just get, oh,
nightmares.
No.
Oh, he's having a nightmare.
Oh, Lord. I love how his AD
Okay,
carry.
I don't want the replay anymore. I take it back. I don't want the replay anymore.
I like how Abra was just like, all right, that's your fault, mate. I'm not
even using the deal. It's just like,
I'm not getting involved.
Look, you put yourself 6 feet under, you can deal with it yourself, all right?
Yeah.
But no name here. We'll spot out time. I don't think this is a great time, to be perfectly honest.
It is not. As you can see, Oscar trying to jump in there with the pulverize and not getting the headbutt combo out, but they will jump now into random, try and see if they can get those concussive blows going down. We'll see Nightmare getting punted back again. This time he's not in on top of the tower. There's going to be a good knock up here from Oscar. Trying to just keep going down. It is Bisons coming out with a much better health advantage though alongside this one here. Scatter the Weak is good to drop back random so nobody dies, but you can see just how much more confident Bisons are with this combination. They know when and where they can go for fights.
Yeah, especially when they know that there's no flash on towards Heroic, so definitely have to kind of focus him down if they want to. Although random, just needs to be a little bit careful, we'll step away. But I think it's, again, kind of comes back to the changes that were made to Ivern as well. Like one of the, oh, actually, Legolas now, forced to cleanse, moves away. The changes that we saw to Ivern were technically supposed to be a nerf, but honestly, this pre-level 6 and kind of pushing on as well, it kind of feels a bit more like a buff, because he... Nightmare, are you gonna, oh no,
oh no, Nightmare and his AD carry having nightmares. He's going to throw back a Q just to make sure they can't go for it. They don't want to risk it because they didn't know exactly where Heroic was on his recall, but I mean, that's just in the end another clean kill on that bot side, and it does feel like GTZ, they're just being a little bit lackadaisical with how they're kind of going about this lane.
Yeah, they're kind of posturing very, very aggressively, and then realizing that
you can't fight it.
The E-Club, like Bison just have a nail and they immediately deflate. It's like you just pop and you're just gone. It's a lot of bravado and no real follow-up. So unfortunately, Bison have just been calling them every single time, and GTZ collapsing a little bit now. 3 kills, a 2k gold lead going over towards Bison Club, or E-Club, and No Name now starting to move in towards this mid lane again with Oscure in his back pocket.
Yeah, and time going to be caught out here if he's not too careful. We'll have the flag and drag to kind of make something work here. They are going to just try and jump onto random, but I mean, look at the shielding here from the W and then of course from the Ivern. It just makes it so hard to burst him out, which just kind of puts the Syndra into such a terrible situation. Good flash here by Oscar as Avra was coming up from that bot side, so decent moves here from GTZ to make sure that they don't lose everything around this mid lane as they try and figure out if they're going for Dragon or for Rift Herald.
But that's the problem. You've invested way more as GTZ to this play that's fizzled out. So bot lane, you get to crash this wave, which now opens up Legolas to move up towards the Rift Herald. So again, it's kind of Bison playing off of these lane states that you see where, okay, we've got the control of bot lane, we can now start to put pressure mid, and that gives us control over the Rift Herald as well. So nicely done by Bison, and even the resets that were forced by GTZ as well, not helping them out in that scenario.
You can see there across the board, pretty much advantages for everybody. A couple of hundred here, 1,000 in the top lane. To be expected, to be fair there. You don't pick the Scion into the Aurelia, or rather the Aurelia to the Scion to lose the matchup, as Legolas don't think he's going to be dying anytime soon. Will get concussive blow down and a fair bout of his health taken, but well, that's all been happening. Can they make this dive work? That's the question. And with the Alistar coming back in into screen, this is going to be difficult for the side of Bisons to you know, kind of keep going for themselves.
Good read from Legolas though to back away. Time goes in.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting in a lot of damage here. Gonna see them now try and jump on the side. Oh, really nice angle there from the side of Legolas. Puts himself right behind the wall. And now your minion wave's dying, and they're delaying it even more. Nightmare! Oh, he wants to wake up, but he just can't. And now everybody's gonna be going down. It's 6 kills to none. Triple kill for the Kaiser, 4 overall. It's gone from bad for the worse, Gagda.
Oh, it's a disaster. And even Heroic tries to come down here to make the heroic play, and that doesn't work out either. Bison E-Club, 4 kills onto Legolas at the moment. I mean, I don't know what the upgrade system was in that whole Twin Towers game, but he's maxed it out. Like, Legolas is firing on all cylinders here. But time, way too over-aggressive. As you said, Oscure coming back into lane. Great positioning from Legolas with the ultimate as well to reposition behind the Shield of Nightmares to get that kill. And then Oscure coming in, flash over the wall from No Name here, just barely to keep Oscure alive. And then he gets into the minion line. So, unfortunately, Zeri does as Zeri does. Can't really hit onto him.
Yeah, no mana though in the picture-in-picture. Go back to live. Heroic taking a fair chunk of damage, and Static Shiv at 10 minutes there already, and building up even more kind of attack speed as such here is Legolas. Is he doing a recurve bow, his namesake, random Gonna maybe be in trouble here. Nightmare and Avar gonna try and jump in on top of him with the lightning crash. Random trying to flash away, see if he can get anything going for himself. Will get caught up by the concussive blows, but he's gonna try and jump back through his shadow. Finally, Avro will pick himself up that kill. But yeah, indeed, because No Name, Legolas, and Oscar trying to see if they can get something going there. They're not even gonna get that last plate. It's not gonna go down in time, and now they've just given up the ghost. They've given up their position. You can see Time saying, look, I just gotta leave. I gotta do me and just not be a part of this play. So yes, they get a kill on bot lane, but again, they're just losing out on the rest side of the map.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they're just resetting their gold so then you can get picked up by Legolas again. So now Bison's once more on this bottom side. Dragon is up and available, and they're not even worried about it. They're just like, hey, look, we're just going to keep playing for plates. We're just going to keep playing for this massive gold lead to keep on extending. 1.3k and 5 kills for Legolas. And now the Rift Herald to boot.
Yeah, Rift Herald's going to be able to get at least 2 plates here for Legolas. The rest of his Legolas and co. As he ends up kind of working with the tree.
You can call him Gimli, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think about it there, and I was just like, No Name is clearly a tree end, so that's fine. We can work with that. But I was kind of like, there's no one really sure. There's no yordles to call Gimli here in this game to kind of really bring it in there. So, you know, I want to be at least true to the source material.
Canonical. Yeah.
Fair.
We'll figure out who the Hobbit is. We'll figure out. I mean, to be fair, Legolas is kind of a Hobbit as well at this stage because he's eaten so much. He's fed as all hell. But Time moving now up to this top side.
Yeah, well, Aurelia's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. He's going to try and just dash away at... Oh, it's really nicely done. Does still have flash and going to try and go back in with the Vanguard's edge. Does get a nice stun.
No,
goes back in. No. What is this? Will eventually go down, but a 1v2. That was beautiful.
That was insane for Mirwin. Managing to just play around the minions enough to get the heals, to get the damage that they needed. And I mean, we're going to see that in an Aurelia montage at some stage. That was sick.
That was so nice. The fact that he gets out and then goes back in and goes, nah, I can win this. I know I can go for this. But now that you know you've committed 2 people to the top side, you have got free reign in the bot lane. Bisons are not only winning in those, you know, kind of overloaded skirmishes, they're winning across the board.
Yeah, and it's just gone from bad to worse for GTZ. Unfortunately for them, like 0-3 in the jungle, the bot lane has gone completely awry. You're losing out when it comes towards the objectives now as well with this dragon going over. Even the tower is going to be soon to fall with the amount of pressure that Bisons are going to put onto the spot side. It is gone spectacularly for the Spanish representatives and the Portuguese kind of being pulled a little bit here.
Yeah, they are not having a good time. Won't be a perfect game, of course, because they do have those 2 kills, but it is definitely starting to go for it. But here we go. Let's look at this replay here. Because again, they know that they have to try and stop this Aurelia from just side laning it constantly. And it looks pretty good for the LPLOL representatives at the start.
Yeah, and it's just a case of, like, as you see here, like, using the heals off of the Q to get the 1, the reset, and 2, the damage down. So immediately bypass the CPM here to get the heal, and then uses the ultimate again to get the double proc here of both Qs onto Time, and then able to flash away from the ultimate, get the stun, which gives another proc of the Q, and then using that damage reduction from the W as well to just about buy time. So really well played by Mirwin on that play.
Legolas died.
No!
Sorry, spoilers.
Dude, I'm only in the second book, come on.
God damn it, God damn it, how dare you not give spoilers for a 40-year-old book?
Yeah,
it's probably longer. It's like 50 probably, but yeah, not quite sure how he died. I'm sure our fantastic observers will give us a quick little replay.
On a quick side note to this, the most upsetting thing I heard in No Name's interview earlier today was like, yeah, he started playing in Season 3. And I was like, oh, no way, that's when I started. He's like, yeah, I was 10 years old.
Yeah, Kitty from the LPL was the same. She was like, oh yeah, Season 3, I was 10. I was like, excuse me? Why were you allowed on the PC?
Yeah. As a 30-year-old man, these numbers upset me greatly, and now I'm starting to understand why my parents talked the way they did about these times. But we're going to get that replay you're asking for, Oshinas. We're going to see exactly what happens. So yeah, reset comes through from Obscure, doesn't realize he's on a ward, and just a nice job here from Nightmares. It looks like heads up, gets the CC, and yeah, from that point forward, I mean, yeah, immediate follow-up. They know that they got him.
Yep, really well done there. Good capitalization. And the funny thing is, despite how this early game, I was saying that Heroic is going to go down, I was going to say it's only about a 2,000 gold lead. It's about 2,500. Now the Rift Herald's been started here as well, but you're in a 5v4, really a 4v4 natively. You do have the TP from random, should you want to try and join this one in. I mean, GTZ, you're going to have to back away. I don't think you have the position to try and take this. Now a teleport's coming in. They're closing in from all sides. CPM going to try and play Bouncer, but You're not really in the best position here to try and defend this. I will say, though, the rest of Bisons have kind of given up the ghost on that particular chase. And they are going to go back to try and get their prize, but the Reptile hasn't been taken just yet. And it's going to take a little bit of time. Now they're going to look to maybe go for a fight afterwards. Oscar goes in, they're going to try and fight it, but it's secured by the side of Bisons. Now they can look for the fight afterwards. Legolas putting in the damage on the time, who may be going to be able to get out just his life. They're going to try and maybe catch out Legolas on the backside of this play, but they don't really want to fully commit now. Aurelia, we know what happened last time. You were pretty damn cool, but you don't want to try and overcommit into 5. In a 1v2, it's awesome, and in 1v5, it's a little bit int.
Yeah, and then some Bisons are just going to back away. They have position here on the mid lane, though, so should be able to crash this wave. And you can see there's a big wave building on bot lane as well. The GTZs will have to grab. So right now, Bison's happy to just walk away with the prize. Riftchild in tow. They now are able to set up for that 1-3-1 that we were talking about, especially with that extended bot lane, and now look to use the Riftchild that's conveniently on Legolas to just crack up in that mid lane turret.
And Legolas already got 2 items. I was going to say how far ahead he is, but he's ahead on item completions, yes. But funny enough, in terms of gold, it's dead even, despite there being 5 kills on this Callista. So that shutdown really kind of crawling back a lot of that disadvantage that Avra found himself at. And honestly, with this reset, he might be already up onto a second item, which could be huge.
Yeah, shutdown solo plates as well coming over for Avra is making such a big difference there. Even the CS bang on even. So as you say, second item now come through, the Infinity Edge completed. So definitely not out of the woodwork here for Avra. He'll be the one that you have to see if he can try and step up to be that big carry. It is just a question mark around, well, the side lanes, right? You can see here, Mirwin very far ahead of CPM, now being able to take control over that side lane. And with the reset now coming through from Random, he should be able to catch this bot lane. And maybe we'll get this fight coming through with the second dragon.
Actually, the crowd was curious as my own head conversation that I don't ever include you in for some reason.
But then explain.
But then explain, yeah. If anyone doesn't know, I like to have conversations in my head and then assume Dagda has just known what I've thought about and can answer my questions. But I was curious to see what Yone, the random Yone build was going to be. Haven't really been seeing a huge amount of Kraken Slayer as such in the pro scene as such, or at least in the world's qualifying regions myself. I think it was actually played by M&Es, or M&S, yes, in the C9 finals, but it seems to be kind of coming back with that kind of traditional crit carry build for the Yone in the recent days.
Yeah, I saw Molecule did a breakdown as well on, I think it was Maple he was talking about. He's even building like a baby Rage Knife to like start things off, because you can then transfer your crit across and then selling it later because he doesn't want to go up towards the full thing. So I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with Yone builds at the moment, but I think Kraken Slayer, especially when you're going up against probably what's going to be a Scion at some stage, just going to make a lot of sense, and also does give you a lot of damage in these fights. What we'll have to see exactly is Skir takes a good chunk of damage.
Huge amount of damage there. They will see the Flawless Duet come in. Shirley will get her charge off, but they will not take the tower, and this is the thing. Dragon is up and alive, but now you've lost a huge chunk of health here onto what would be your front line. You're engaged to kind of jump in on the backside with the Aurelia and the Yone. 5v5s coming in here for GTZ, and this is where they feel most comfortable. Decimating Smash not going to hit onto anybody, and you're not really on that big poke Kaisa just yet either. So these Void Seekers are not really going to do a huge amount of kind of poke damage.
Yeah, at least at the moment, Bison's going to back away, but this is kind of what we're talking about. Is like GTZ, if they can try and force fights, that's where they are going to be strongest. Like, they set up as this great front to back. You've got good damage now on average. We're talking about like getting that second item for himself, the poke that you can get from Heroic, but it's going to be side lanes where Bisons are happiest. So if you're going to commit as many resources as he has GTZ now, you could lose a top lane tier too, because you look at No Name and you look at Mirren, who are up there already. This one's going to be gone.
Yep, it's definitely going to be gone. So it's a trade of Dragon for the tower. Or not just yet. TP, yeah, TP from CPM, and they can't really dive him. Look at the amount of armor on this dude. He is impossible to be killed here by, basically anyone who isn't going to be Legolas, especially at this stage of the game. But nicely done! And he gets away from it as well! Oscar trying to go for it, and now they're going to jump back on top of him. Yone picks up that kill. Random trying to see if he can maybe get out with his life here, but he's just caught between a rock and a hard place. And this is getting a little bit dicey. GTZ get themselves a 2-for-1 trade.
It's getting very messy from Bisons. They'd set up so well in the early stages, but fumbling in the mid game. This could even be Mirwin going down here as well.
I mean, he's going to try and get himself over the wall, will be able to kind of escape from this, and should be able to get back off of the minion wave. So not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, Bisons, this is starting to get a little bit risky now. You're getting kills onto this Zeri, who's catapulting towards a third item as well. So this is where, again, the GTZ are going to feel most comfortable getting those fights in the 5v5s.
Yeah, and you can see here, like, just again, Legolas going that bit too far forward. Thinks he can get the damage onto Abra, but with the ult coming through, Avra able to turn around, Oscure with a little bit of a misstep, but still the kill does go across random. But because he has to go so far forward, Heroic in a good position to then finish him off as well. So a lot of mistakes being punished by GTZ, and this is exactly what the Portuguese representatives need if they want to try and pull themselves back into this game. Now, only 2.5k goal behind, whereas we're looking at 4k just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, the 2.5k is basically on top of the top lane. It's 2k almost for the Aurelia, which is, again, scary, but you're a tank Sion. You don't really care about that much gold. You just kind of need your kind of set items, the Sunfire, the Bramble Vest, and you're kind of good to go, to be perfectly honest. Everything else is just a little bit of a bonus, so we'll wait to see how it ends up kind of working out right now, as Heroic might be getting jumped in on top of it, does flash away. There's going to be an offensive redemption to try and put him down. Random going to try and jump back in on top of him, but he's getting a hell of a lot of damage. Heroic almost able to kind of get him bursted away, so GTZ not dropping anybody just yet, and you can see that the longer this game goes, the more it just feel like this GTZ are coming back more into life.
Yeah, they would have liked, as Bison's E-Club, to have that wave in mid, so they could have threatened the mid lane tower as everyone was focused on the bottom side, but the wave had already been cleared out, and that's why GTZ were in a position to try and move down to that bottom lane. So all said and done, it will be the flash burnt on Heroic, but Abra moving top.
I mean, there's no flash now here onto the Aurelia, so now they're going to be able to try and burn her down. No real support coming up just yet. They're going to TP up Heroic as well, and yeah, you can see everybody kind of saying, look, we're very sorry, but you're going to have to just accept this L, and that is Avra with another kill. What started off in the bot lane as a 5-0 Kai'Sa is now looking at a 5-2 Kai'Sa and a 4-4 Zeri. This could be Baron, like you just said.
Yeah, I think they take that's why you got the TP from Heroic. They wanted to get the kill and immediately go, but now everything is burnt, so in the 4 versus 5, what can Bison do?
Here we go. You still have some decent ultimates available. No Cataclysm, though. No Unleash Power. You're looking for a good ultimate here from the Braum. Going to try and jump it onto Legolas, but he gets knocked up. Oh, Oscar. That was very, very key. GTZ, they don't want to risk throwing away the game just yet, and they're going to back themselves away. They won't throw it away at the Baron, but good defense from Bisons.
Huge play by Oscar. If that had gone any way else, that would have been a very dead Legolas. It's still maybe a very dead Legolas as he's playing on the edge of that, but the fact that you actually managed to keep Legolas alive is a reason that they're able to stick around. Now with the TP coming through, it's Bison who started up.
Yeah, they look at the low health bars. You're going to have CPM going to try and TP back in. They know they can go for this. It's not an exceptionally quick Baron, but it's going to be quick enough. Heroic is already here. Avra going to go and try and heal it back up. You do not have a Braum. It's a 5v4, 3,000 HP. They don't have any real kind of vision. They finally get the Demacian standard in. They're going to try and jump back in. Marin trying to see if he can be just a distraction, and Bisons don't want to risk it either. Both teams testing the waters a little bit and both being called on their bluffs.
That's 2 TPs invested though for GTZ on this play. So Random will have his up and available. So now it becomes a case of, can they, Bisons, use Random's TP advantage on those side lanes to keep it in check. I wouldn't be surprised for the Yone to be the one that then goes to catch the spot lane wave. You'll see him just go there. But with Dragon, as you say, in 45 seconds, I think we just end up with a repeat, but this time it's going to be all those ultimates back up available that were missing from that initial engage.
You've got the Runan's Hurricane now as well. Avra is huge. You've got these 2 AD carries both on 3 items. You are really wanting Random to pick up that, what looks like to be an Infinity Edge. It looks like he should be able to finish it up just now, but again, just kind of having to have these moments here for the side of Bisons. What started off so perfectly, it really was such a perfect start, and now they're going straight back towards that Baron.
Yeah, great call. You get the TP immediately out from Random. They know that he had to reset, so now they just back it off, and they actually
they jump in, and Legolas is dead. They kill off Random as well. Yone and Kai'Sa no longer a part of this fight. 2 kills going to Avra, and they can go straight back to the big purple worm.
Great call from GTZ. I thought they would just look for the TP, but they're actually able to turn quick enough onto Random and Legolas in that mid lane, and that's Baron now. For GTZ, it looked like they were down and out, but this is the massive swing in their favor.
They're going to get the gold, they're going to get the power. There's so much standing gold as well. The top turret tier 1 and mid lane tier 1 are still available. This is just them kind of waiting it out as well. They're kind of saying, look, there's no contention here. We can keep the 2 tanks on this and we're going to get it anyway.
And it's also the fact now that for GTZ it becomes significantly easier to control the tempo on the map. Because you get to buff up these minions, they'll be running in towards these towers. It becomes significantly harder for Mirwin or for Random to really have that advantage on side lanes that we're talking about. So you get to kind of push out sides like we see on top side. Immediately you'll probably see them group into the mid lane to take that mid lane tower, and then slowly but surely start to crush and push back the vision that Bison are trying to set up.
big swing of momentum, as you mentioned. Gold now dead even. Yeah, you got a dragon extra for Bisons, but I mean, we're 25 minutes in and only the third dragon. But this is just such a smart call from time as well, just to immediately engage.
No vision at all for Bison in that river. There was like one blue ward that had gone down, but it got cleared out immediately. And here's this mid lane play that we're talking about. You can't really contest this because you've got barred up minions for GTZ. And it looks like Random is just going to keep pushing in top, so going to sacrifice this.
I mean, Legolas, you don't know if you're going to be able to stay there. He's going to eventually ult away. CPM will flash as well. They will be able to try and keep him healthy and safe. A TP coming in from Heroic to try and stop this mid lane or top lane tier 2 from going down, and we'll be able to do just that. But this is a good moment of momentum here for the side of GTZ. They just need to make sure they calm down. You don't need to throw this game away by thinking you're further ahead than you are.
I was actually surprised to see the TP. I thought they'd just fully commit. You don't really have anyone on Bisons that's particularly tanky against all 5 members of GTZ, especially with Legolas now not having that ultimate available. Could have been an opportunity, but they still get 2 towers. They're still getting the gold that they need. And for the first time in this game, they actually have a gold lead for themselves.
This is what I was saying earlier today. There are no easy matchups in the EMEA Masters. You have to come in and be willing to throw it all down, because Bison started off this game fantastically. It could not have been any better. They got themselves their Kai'Sa so many kills. 15 minutes she had 2 items. But then little by little, slowly but surely, we started to see GTZ just kind of crawl it back, use the power of their full kind of 5v5 team comp to just say, look, you have to fight us now. The Dragon's not really an option, but the Baron was so key. And the fact that they've called their bluff so many times is just fantastic.
And you got to see that the opportunity for Bisons to play side lanes is slipping away. They're not quite able to get these waves linked up. Like Mirren is crashing bot wave as the top laner, well, Random, who's on top lane, is resetting. So you end up in this weird position where GTZ are just shifting back and forth across the map, clearing out waves. You can see starting to get this deep vision that they need. And it's this chokehold of vision and waves that are going to be the downfall of Bisons in this one if they can't find some way to break it.
And you're getting to big second items as well for the kind of front line of GTZ. You've got the Radiant Virtue, for the Scion as well. You've got the Inanimate Chains here available for time, so he's going to be able to put that onto someone, most likely onto Legolas, so he can just get bursted down. But these are little kind of small moments that can just be the big difference in these big team fights. So right now you're looking at Bisons and kind of saying, right, what have you got? Where are you going to be able to try and bring this fight? Because you're the ones that are kind of falling onto the back foot now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case of trying to find someone, as you can see on this top side, like, look for someone who's trying to catch a wave. But if I'm GTZ right now, I'm just like, cool, we can drop top tower, it's nearly dead, and actually like try to just brute force our way into the base. And they don't really have vision to spot out, you know, the fact that No Name and Obscure are up here. So that's why it's kind of like Random waiting to see who rocks up, but they're just going to step away. Dropping waves is fine, but you need to get something for it as GTZ.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm not certain what their exactly plan is.
Yeah, they're kind of waiting for, I mean, obviously the TP came in from Heroic to try and cover that top side. We will see Random taking a fair bit of damage. Random! Oh my god, dude! He just, it's unfortunate, but come on!
I mean, this is
huge. You can't be disrespecting it.
GTZ have the TP here, so they're going to go for Mirren.
Yeah, they're going to look for on the flawless to let lands on the 2, but like you said, they don't really have a front line here. You got Daisy, but Daisy will be shredded down so quickly, and that's kind of your last line of defense now available to you. GTZ, they're starting to build the momentum. It's starting to go from a maybe we can win to, you know what, we should be winning.
Yeah, and especially with 45 seconds now until Dragon, it looks like GTZ Random are just trying to keep pressure up here until Random will respawn, but then they can just fall back into all this vision that they've got scattered onto the bottom side jungle. Just fishing here for Heroic, see what they can pick up, but everyone wants to go forward.
Yeah, Nightmares just trying to flash away, make sure he doesn't go down, goes a little bit isolated away from his team, so definitely respecting the fact that he got caught out there. Like you said, 20 seconds until that Dragon spawns, mid and top all pushing in the favor of GTZ, and they are going to deal with bot lane as well. He's Poke coming in here, doing very well just to kind of keep Nightmares down, make sure he can't have as fun of a time to try and reset. He can't really reset because he's going to be a 5v5 very soon.
Yeah, I think Heroic took a little bit too much time as well. He would have loved to try and get a TP back in. No blue buff, very low on mana, and not really going to be in a position now as Bison's set up here in the river.
I will say you can't spend too much time here as Bisons, though. Look at top lane. It's getting a fair bit of damage on its own. It's going to get some reinforcements as well. Mid lane being dealt by Avra as everyone kind of moves themselves over here. You're seeing if any of that poke will really land. And yes, it's fine, but finally a Heroic will get himself that reset. As Time now puts himself behind the pit. Random knows he's there, so they know that there's going to be a bit of a flank coming in. Heroic with a full mana bar now, trying to see if he can go for something. Oh, 3-man! Scatter the Weak is good, and they're going to jump in with the Scion. They're going to try and kill them off while they can. They do get Oscar into the front line, but he's not going to last for much longer. Random tries to jump back in, but he is unleashed with the power, and now he goes down. You can see Avra pushing back in onto the backside. They will take down the Scion. He will get a second life, but he's going to go down. Straw the same. The Ivern has gone down, and this is just fantastic for GTZ. They lose 1, they gain 3, and they get the dragon.
The entire fight ends up swapped as Legolas will find Heroic in time here.
I mean, yeah, I just can't see them kind of going for this one. Heroic, seeing if he can get the Scatter of the Weak. He will. The Jarvan picks up that kill. It's a 4-for-1. Time just going to stop this Aurelia from resetting, and honestly, it's totally fine. He could put in the Cataclysm. He didn't need it for that last fight. They're going to put down the concussive blows as well. Maybe he can get a kill on the backside of this one here, but it's just a little bit of delay. That's all it is, because he's trading 1-for-1.
And still, you got GTZ who pick up the dragon. They do need to try and reset, though, because you can see the timers that are on Bison's side here. Needs to be back out to make sure they're not going to try and just rush immediately back out onto the map. I suppose with Legolas out, they can't really look for Baron or anything, but really big pit win here for GTZ. And in fact, now you're in a position with nearly 5 items onto your Zeri. It's huge, but this Scatter the Weak from Heroic was heroic. Like, gets onto No Name, sets up then for CPM to immediately go in with the ultimate. Askir does a good job of trying to buy space here, but there's just not really much you can do. Random completely whiffs as Avra is able to dodge away, and then this fight ends up completely swapped around. So Avra jumps onto No Name in the back line. You got Heroic then, who's able to settle in nicely behind Time again, and Nightmare too, and then following up here to make sure they can pick off Legolas.
The Baron, it's being started, and the TP's coming in as well. I don't know if, I mean, Random can TP in, but he's too late. That's a second Baron for GTZ. They're sticking to their guns. They're getting themselves their basics. Their fundamentals are solid, and they are starting to ramp up.
Yeah, I think it's just a call here from GTZ going, look, we really can't do much against Bisons can't do much against GTZ in an all-right brawl. So instead, they're just going to try and take tier 2 on bot side, push the waves in as deep as they can, and just not give GTZ an opportunity to really use this Baron. But they do have the mid wave still, and they're just going to immediately try to cannoneer themselves down this mid lane.
I mean, the big thing now is that you can see the damage that Heroic is doing. 3 items onto this Syndra means that poke is significant. And it's not going to be easy to try and just mitigate it up. If Oscar just kind of gets himself caught out a couple of times, he will end up going down to just the straight up poke from this Syndra. So right now, you've got plenty of brushes being put down here to try and cover yourself, but Legolas, you don't want to be taking too many more Scatter the Weaks to your face. That's not an ideal situation to be in, and they're starting to push this one in. There is a good TP ward, and they're going to try and full on into it now. They don't know exactly what this is in, but Avra has a feeling they're going a little bit too far aggressive. Heroic now moving forward with it. They're going to try and jump onto Random. He gets in with the Spirit Unleashed, trying to see if he can get more damage down. They're going to eventually get him back down, and he goes over way too far forward and gets kind of tugging out Time. Eventually gets himself away from this fight, but look at Avra. He's untouched, and he's just free hitting on the backside of this one here. Bison threw a Hail Mary, and unfortunately for them, it's just not going to equal to anything.
The fact that Avra got the stopwatch off came in clutch from the engage from Random, and clutch enough that GTZ might just finish this one here.
I mean, we talked about there's no easy matchups in Bisons. They're now 2v4. You need to try and hold this as best you possibly can. Legolas and No Name, you've got yourself an enchantment. He flashes and he cleanses. There's damage coming down. Heroic wants it. Look at the shield, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Avra's huge, and he only has eyes for the prize. He only has his eyes on the next list, and the LPLOL will start the group stage 1-0 over the Superliga.
That is heartbreaking for Bisons to be in such a commanding position and not be able to capitalize on it in the mid game, bringing that back massively for the Portuguese representatives. But my word, GTZ, finding the picks, finding the moments, the TP pick in that top lane to turn it into a Baron, like great shot calling in the mid game.
A huge upset as well, and this is what we were talking about very much at the start of the day, is that this is a huge kind of, setup now for the side of this group, seeing who can come second. There's so much open for it now.
Yeah, this is where you just kind of go, okay, well, what the hell is going to be going on? Because with the early kill or the early pickup here for the Portuguese representative, again, a team that didn't make it into the group's last split, to now be on the taking a win, a massive win for themselves against their neighbors. This could really throw a huge amount of this Group A just into disarray.
I mean, look, Bisons had an idea. They said, look, if we get ahead, we get our side lanes going, the Aurelia, the Yone, and you get the poke rate basically from the 131 from the Kaisa, you're in great spirits. But then it just felt like they got a little bit lazy. They kind of, again, similar to what we saw from Anamino, excuse me, from earlier, where it's kind of like they took shortcuts. They didn't quite check their, dot their I's, cross their T's. They didn't check everything on the dotted line, and they got very rightly punished by GTZ. Fantastic mid-game calls from them, as you said, and just really knowing the power of their composition.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some major errors coming through from GTZ in the early game, but the fact they were able to fall back and recalibrate coming into these team fights was absolutely fantastic. And as you say, for Bisons, they had everything that they needed. Like, the Kaisa was huge, she was going to be fine. You had this massive Aurelia as well that was popping off, but in a position where they just don't really follow up. They don't really know what they're supposed to do. They don't have control over side lanes. They're not really setting up correctly with Random and Mirwin to actually put pressure on the map fully. And every single time, GTZ were finding these moments to get a pick here, get a small punishment, like taking a silly road back into the lane that you shouldn't be, and that's what brought it back.
It did feel like it was kind of complacency coming in here from Bisons.
Yeah.
Again, you just can't let those things happen. This was the moment where we kind of said, all right, the game is done, because this Aurelia play was nutty, but it meant nothing. After this, I don't think I really saw the Aurelia do much of anything.
And that was the thing, right? She didn't really have an opportunity to. It was like CPM just clearing waves immediately as Sion, and then GTZ just jumping up. It was this where we started to see it swapping back over in favor. Avra got the shutdown, he got those plays for himself, and was actually in a position to go toe-to-toe with the Kaisa, and I think that you can obviously see caught Bisons off guard, and then having this kill go over to Heroic as well, giving him then control and the opportunities that they needed to continuously fight back. This is just, again, Bisons, they needed to play towards their strengths, but as you say, they got complacent. They tried to too quickly close this one out, and it came back to bite them.
Yeah, and again, like that last pick of the brushes that, like you mentioned it in the game, zero vision for Bisons. And again, that's what we're saying, like, they just got complacent. You can't take those opportunities or those kind of risks in these kind of games, because GTZ kind of said, look, we've swept this. We know that they have no idea where we are or what we're doing, and this TP is going to be it. And again, look, this was a great effort from Random, but the stopwatch just completely mitigates everything.
Yeah, and I love seeing CPM just barreling down as well to be like, I'm here, don't worry. But it was a nice attempt, and you can see Mirwin trying desperately to get into the backline and deal what damage they can, but once you got that front line set up in front of them between the Braum, the Sion, even the Jarvan as well, it just becomes way too difficult to get easy access to the backline without just throwing your life away.
And honestly, like right now, you're feeling so good as the LPLOL. You got a fantastic start to this group. And honestly, you kind of starting off so well against someone who's going to be contesting you for that potentially second or first spot. Again, like, I don't think there's any shame in saying that you're going to be second to the Wildcats, but that gives you such a boost now coming into the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, even if you're looking at some of the other teams in the group like Orbit as well, I mean, if you think that the Spanish representatives are the stronger version, well, then the fact that they've now taken a loss is going to make you very, very happy, at least especially when you've taken one yourself against Istanbul Wildcats early today. So I think definitely Group A looking way more competitive than, honestly, I thought coming into today.
Yeah, honestly, I can't wait to see it. And you say Group A is competitive, and wait till you figure out what's happening in Group C. But we're going to send it to a quick break. When we return, we're going to have our third series of the day.